I've been flip-flopping around between so much different gear for this particular character, but here it goes. We got Grief, Laying of Hands, SOJ, T-Gods, Ravenfrost, Gore Riders, Spirit, High Lords, Guardian Angel, G-Face with the IAS Jewel, Ruby Jewel of Fervor, 35%, so 5% off perfect. Then we got Call to Arms and Phoenix on swap just to get our mana back and everything like that. We got Torch and Annie, and then we got some combat skillers. We got a Geeds, or as Mr. Llama calls it, a Jeeds. Here's all our stats, basically enough to hold our gear, and then max vitality pretty much. Pretty good resistances over here. I wanted to just do something different than using Enigma. I know that that would be the most efficient way to play this, being able to teleport around. But we pretty much do have all our bases covered. In terms of our skill, no defensive auras. You could have put points into redemption instead of having a Phoenix on swap like I do, but you know, it's whatever. Offensive auras, we maxed out our fanaticism. Combat skills, we got Holy Shield, we maxed out Fist of Heavens, maxed out Holy Bolt, maxed out Smite. So we're going to be smiting for our bosses. We're going to be using Fist of Heavens on most of the trash mobs, and then everything that's not undead or demon, we're going to just be hitting them with Zeal. And then our mercenary has got Lawbringer, so we get decrep sometimes on the enemies, Fortitude, and then Plague. So if we get poisoned or if we get cursed or anything, that wears off fairly quickly. And then he's got G-Face himself. So we can come over here. This isn't a place that I would farm with this, but we'll just showcase real quick. We come over here, we charge. You know, since those aren't undead and demon, I just hit them with Zeal real quick. See, this is one of the downsides. Sometimes if you get in between a big pack, you know, where normally if you were using Enigma, you would just teleport out of there. Here, you just gotta kind of fight your way. But I mean, look at that. One single Fist of Heaven just literally took him out of there. So, you know, we can go anywhere in the game and efficiently deal with any type of content. So now let's go ahead. Wow, we're having some crazy screen tearing. Let's go into Worldstone, which would definitely be a place I would farm. I wouldn't particularly farm Chaos with this, just because River of Flame, you know, can be kind of a pain in the ass to cross over. Unless you have Teleporter, unless you have like Leap with the Barbarian, or Dragon Flight for an Assassin. You know, some areas are just easier to get to, but if you don't really care, you know, then you can run through the areas and do the content that way. This is just a fun character in my opinion, because you can play it so many different ways and you're benefiting, you know, from the grief, even though we're not even really invested into Zeal at all. And then the grief translates really well to smiting. And then Fist of Heavens just for all these trash mobs that would normally be a big waste of time to spend Zealing down. You know, Fist of Heavens is just so convenient right there. And it is kind of satisfying also having that redemption aura from my Phoenix shield on swap. Because, I mean, I do have to use my call to arms every once in a while just to get, you know, battle orders and everything back up. Let's keep it moving. So I mean, if you're really like a super efficiency farmer, you probably wouldn't be using a character that's running anyways. You'd probably be using like a self-infinity wielding Nova Sorceress, or like a, you know, Mosaic Assassin or something. Or you'd be using this with an Enigma on. The Fist of Heavens really works the best when enemies are all bunched up close to each other, because it kind of has a shotgun effect, essentially. Like right here. All it takes is really just one of those right there, and it's gonna... I think that's the reason why Shank died so fast, essentially, even though the enemies around him weren't undead or demon. When it hits enemies, it does that shotgun effect no matter what. So since there were so many enemies in that concentrated area, it shotgunned him with a bunch at once. I might be wrong. That would be something to test, like on higher player counts and stuff. I actually might have to do that after this run. After this run, I'll check that, and then I'll also go into Chaos Sanctuary, showcase this build inside of there. See, so these are the type of enemies that are good to seal down. Unfortunately, we do have that Holy Freezar one right here. That one's pretty dangerous, and he's a physical immune. Good thing we have Decrep coming up soon, probably, on our mercenary. I might be better off hitting him with that lightning damage. Yep. So, I mean, we got a little bit of lightning damage on our Fist of Heavens. See, we gotta swap again to hit our battle orders. See, some of these, we don't need to use the map. See, like these Zeal down type of enemies, that's not right there. These, just Fist of Heavens. We're like a Swiss Army knife. Ooh. Oh man. Hate to see it. Hate to see it. I still haven't gotten a really good base for that Defiance or whatever the name of the shield is, the Eth shield. I want to just... I'm always tempted to come over here because I got to make sure there's no elites that could potentially drop me one of my remaining grail items or whatever. Always got to just be sure. Since I mean I already made it this far down into Worldstone, might as well check one time. Look at that desync. See, so this is kind of like a little bit unfortunate that all of these were those type of enemies that I actually have to put a little effort into killing, but it's all good. See, Hammerden can't do that. I mean, you could have Hammerden and then you could have used Holy Bolt or something, but... Nah, Hammerden in all seriousness is stronger than this character. Like having a Hammerden and then one that can also do, you know, smiting or something is definitely going to be stronger than this. But I just like the variety, you know, Zealing, Fist of Heavens, and smiting for the boss. 'Cause I just never really liked using Smite inside the actual level itself. You know, it just feels slow and kind of cumbersome. But for the boss, it's fine for the boss. See, that's where I need the mercenary to be there. Apply that decrep for me. I know you can hear me. I know you can hear me. Okay, maybe you don't hear me. He's getting shotgunned by all the holy bolts bouncing off the other enemies. 100% that's what's happening. I don't particularly like going through the River of Flame because it can be tedious without having teleporting or without having, you know, like leap for a barbarian or whatever, but, you know, it's not a huge deal. See, like right here, we gotta go back around the other way. Some of these enemies are the kind that using Zeal is better for because they're not undead or demon. That's where just if we were teleporting and everything, it would just be a lot smoother of a process. But it's all good. See all these just get shotgunned. This one could drop anything in the game for me. But not the seal bosses. This one could too. I don't know why I have the map up sometimes when I totally don't even need to use it. I guess it's just literally a habit at this point. Let me know if that's something that you do as well. See, it really does so much more damage when all the enemies are grouped up. It just shoots out so many more holy bolts at once and shotguns the enemies that are all bunched up. That's kind of a cool mechanic, honestly, because it's like the only skill in the game that works in that kind of manner. I mean, maybe like Lightning Fury or something like that. Okay, hold on. Get me out of here. Okay. So, I mean, of course, this isn't like the fastest boss killing in the whole game or anything like that. But at the same time, it's not bad either. You know, it's like just the all-around fun to play build. You know, you get to use your sword. You get to use your shield. You get to use some spells as well. You know, kind of covers all of the different fantasies. What's your fantasy, as Ludacris would say.